Good evening. My name is Paul Jesser, and I am the Director of the Western Region of the American Committee for SHAARE ZEDEK Medical Center in Jerusalem. I normally do not play a role at these salons. Steve Matloff usually introduces the evening, but because of the content and the presenters and my relationship with them, I'm taking the privilege of being your host tonight. So I welcome you all. I first want to thank our host, Honey Amato, who not only is our permanent MC for American Committee of all our events, but has graciously hosted us again for the third time, I believe, for one of our salons. She's one of our great lay leaders in terms of direction, model, role setting, financial support, and we want to thank Honey for being a good friend. Before, as we've done traditionally, before we get to the actual program, though, there is the, quote, advertisement. And each time we try to do a little bit different aspect of SHAARE ZEDEK Medical Center in Jerusalem. And rather than give you facts and figures and stories of what's going on from my perspective, I'm pleased to introduce Jason Cirlin, who is one of our young lay leaders, who just came back from basically a 72-hour trip to Israel. Wow. Meaning the program started in Israel Monday night and ended Thursday night. And on Tuesday and Monday night they had dinner together. They walked through the old city just to get the cobwebs out from the flights. Tuesday and Wednesday they spent full days at the hospital. And Thursday they did some touring, some of the museums on the coast, and then flew home Thursday night. Wow. It's the first time we've done this intense, short, intense trip for our leadership, our young leadership, and we're very pleased. And we've asked Jason in about 5 minutes just to share some of his experiences with you. So Jason Cirlin.
All 2 days, huh?
18 hours.
That's pretty quick.
It's still Thursday night, right?
Right.
It's a long Thursday night.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone, and thank you, Paul. My name is Jason Cirlin, and like Paul said, I had the honor of participating in the Young Leadership Mission to Israel. That was this past July. It feels like a long time ago, but it wasn't. So yeah, it was a whirlwind, but really quality trip to see the inner workings of the hospital. And so we had really 2 days and went to most of the departments, not all, and got to meet with the heads of the department and really learn about what's going on there, about what the needs are for the hospital. It was incredible. So to give you a little bit more specific, some more specific details about it, things that I learned about the hospital, I just jotted down a few things. The hospital is a very unique hospital. There's clearly a lot of thinking that went into it, a lot of thinking about the design of how things are related, something you might know about. And so I'll give you an example. In the parking lot, there's an entrance right there that goes into the emergency room, and right next to it is a staging area for, God forbid, if there's a chemical weapons attack in Israel. So if there is, God forbid, this is where people would be taken. They've set up, in the parking lot, in the actual structure, there's showers that people can drive in. Immediately they're showered down. They're taken to the emergency room. And next to that is a holding area, which can also be like a quarantine area if need be. So much thought put into this. This is really important for a place that's unfortunately on the front lines. So that's one thing that I saw that was really impressive. Another thing that I saw that was really impressive, we went up to the area where they do kidney dialysis. Now, what was particularly interesting about it is that something like, there were a ton of kids in there. Unfortunately, this affects a lot of children. What was interesting was that a very high percentage, if not something like 80–90% of the children that were in there are children from the occupied territories, Muslim children, Arabic children, who come to that location and are able to Okay.
Excuse me, can you change the nomenclature?
Absolutely. Okay, that's fine. Regardless of politics, children who come from the West Bank and Gaza to get help there. And I think it's great that the hospital opens its doors to everyone, no matter what their creed, what their religion. This is a hospital that's focused on helping people. And so I respect that and appreciate that. One of the other areas that I thought was really interesting there, they have a very cutting-edge genetic research department. This is a department that's helping people with in vitro fertilization. They're on the cutting edge of that. It's really important work, and it's helping lots of people in Israel to have kids who maybe otherwise wouldn't be able to. So that's wonderful. Another little tidbit that I thought was interesting, there was an MRI there that's one of actually few MRIs that they have in Israel. Thousands and thousands of people are getting use from this MRI. It's one machine that costs a lot of money, and a lot of people are using it, and it's wonderful to see that. I would say, another really interesting one was they have a children's wing that's really involved and very well set up. And it's basically for kids who unfortunately have to be in the hospital for more than a day, 2 days, 3 days. You know, they're something that we may not think about, they're missing school. And so SHAARE ZEDEK actually has a whole team of teachers there that can help the children who are there keep up with their studies in school. They actually get the curriculum from the children's teachers at their school and then help them keep up with the day's lessons. So, I mean, that was something I hadn't even thought of, and obviously the hospital is really thinking about important things. Finally, as far as what I learned there, the cardiology department, which was founded by Stephen Matloff, his father, Dr. Jack Matloff, was really impressive. I mean, talk about coordination of design. They have the operating rooms right next to where they do the EKG, right next to this, that, and the other thing. It's all coordinated, and it's so people can, it's a one-stop shop basically. You go in, you know, on your bed, they do the testing, there's no elevators, is really the point. They can get you from A to B to C to D really fast. And, you know, when someone's suffering from a heart problem, that amount of time can really make the difference. So the hospital has a lot of needs. We heard from each department about shortfalls that they have. We talked to the director of the hospital who went through really incredible numbers of how many people are using their facilities and how much those numbers are going up by crazy percentages every year. So the needs are really growing, but the funds aren't growing to catch up with the needs. So that's where we come in. And for me, you know, I'm a lawyer. I'm not a doctor, but I recognize the importance of what's happening there. We learn in Judaism that saving a life is saving the world. So I really see this as an important opportunity to save a life and heal the world. And not just cliche, I mean really saving people. And really the people of Israel are on the front lines. And I take it as a way to give back and to help support the people there who would be there for us as Jews if we needed anything around the world. So that's a little bit about the trip. I'll be around. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask.
Yeah, question. Jason